You think you're safe when the world is lit, when life seems normal. But what if unseen eyes are patiently watching from the shadows, just waiting for the perfect moment when the lights go out, when their terrifying game can truly begin?
Following is a post shared on Fortune. Subject: Let's get acquainted. User: Mr. Jolies. Posted today at 3:15 a.m. Hello. I doubt any of you know me, but I feel it's time to change that. I've been a quiet observer on these forums for years, and I've decided to finally share a little bit about my hobby. Well, my passion, really. I am a founding member of a social club, a small fraternity of like-minded gentlemen. You've probably seen our type before. We have jobs. Some of us are quite successful, in fact. We have families, pay our taxes, and mow our lawns. We are, for all intents and purposes, completely normal. But we are united by a singular nagging boredom with the modern world, and shared taste for a specific kind of thrill. We call ourselves the Blackout Clown Cartel. I know what you're thinking. Clowns. It sounds juvenile. It's supposed to. The absurdity is the point. The face paint is a mask, and behind it we are all equal. Our social events, which we call a circus, can only happen under very specific conditions. We wait patiently for a major, widespread power failure, a multi-day blackout. You see, we are not dumb thugs, we are connoisseurs. We understand that a blackout is the perfect storm. The police are overwhelmed, responding to looting and medical emergencies. The population is on edge, and most importantly, the electrical eyes of the world, the security cameras, the alarms, they're all blind. It is the one time the modern world is plunged back into the dark ages. It's the perfect stage for our theater. Our process begins the moment a major blackout hits the news. That's our starting pistol. One of us, our scout, is activated immediately. He drives to the edge of the darkened zone and goes in first. He is a student of urban chaos. He does a quick real-time reconnaissance, looking for those places of opportunity we cherish. A secluded hiking trail, now filled with nervous campers. A dimly lit walking path locals are using as an unlit shortcut home from a bar. A large wooded park where the darkness is absolute. Once he identifies the perfect stage and confirms sporadic foot traffic, he gives a signal. Only then do the rest of us converge on the location he has chosen. There, in the impressive silence, we change. We have our costumes, our makeup, our tools. We become ourselves. For the next several hours, we play. Now, I'm sure you're curious about our games. Of course, we have many, but here's two of my cherished favorites. The first is called Hide and Go Shriek. This one requires a large, isolated expanse. A deep forest is best. It's a game of logistics and terror. The entire cartel spreads out, forming a wide, loose perimeter deep within the trees. Then two of us, initiators, find a target, maybe a couple who thought they were alone, having a nice evening stroll. The initiators don't attack. They simply appear, brandishing machetes, and slowly begin walking, purposefully, forcing their prey to run in a specific direction, deeper and deeper into the forest, right towards the rest of us. We all have walkie-talkies. It's our only piece of tech. The initiators give the signal, and the hunt begins. The seekers then slowly close the circle. It's a beautiful thing to witness. The sheer panic in their eyes when they think they've escaped, only to see another smiling face step out from behind a tree. When we finally have them cornered, that's when the fun begins. Sometimes it's a themed night. For example, one night we all carried baseball bats. Another, it was tasers. The sound of a taser crackling in a pitch-black forest. Oh, it does things to a person's resolve. The pleading, the screaming, some of them just collapse and pass out from pure dread. We had one man we think had a heart attack right there on the spot. We finished him off, of course, regardless. The thing is, it's perfect, because on the odd occasion where someone does get away, their story is worthless. They run to the overwhelmed police, babbling about a gang of killer clowns in the woods. It's almost always considered some sort of teenage prank. After all, the idea is ludicrous, right? We give ourselves a 6-hour time limit. Now, if we can't find them by then, we pack it in. Those are the rules. But I think that's only happened once. We're very, very good at seeking. But let me tell you about my favorite game. The one that I consider our most artful expression. It's called Follow the Leader. Oh my heart beats just thinking about it. This game is pure psychological warfare. We choose a location with limited exits. A long path through a park, for instance, with one main road at the end and only a dark, creepy trail leading off to the woods. We map it out. 3 or 4 of us will take positions on the main road, blocking the exits to safety. We just stand there. Under a street light, by a bus stop, we don't move. We just stare, aggressively, at anyone who approaches. Now, imagine you are that person. You're walking home in the dark. You want to get to the main road. You're just trying to save some time. But up ahead, you see a figure in a clown costume, standing silently, watching you. You try another street, but there's another clown, and another. All the safe paths are blocked by these silent, ominous sentinels. But the creepy little dirt path into the woods, well, that one's wide open. We are fleshing you out. We're using your own survival instinct against you, making the most dangerous option seem like the only one available. I'll never forget this one man, a man in a business suit. He saw me, and then he saw my associate, Giggles, blocking the other way. You could see the gears turning in his head. He actually tried to reason with Mr. Giggles, who of course just smiled his wide, painted smile. The man backed away, sweating, and finally, with a look of utter defeat, he set off down the path into the woods. He chose us. That's for the rest of the cartel was waiting. That was a knives-only night. The look on his face when we realized he'd walked right into his own grave. It was sublime. So many of them just urinate on themselves in that final moment. It's a lovely little bonus. The beauty of the game is its core rule. A rule we hold sacred. If the victim musters the courage to ignore their fear and directly confront one of us, if they charge right at me while I block their path, the game is over. We have to let them pass. Now, it's only happened a few times. It's infuriating, of course, but it makes the victory so much sweeter. We only win if we pilot them to their own doom. Now, after the circus is over, we return to our vehicles. Everything is meticulously burned, the costumes, the gloves, the weapons. There is no evidence. We are ghosts. We drive our separate ways back to our lives. But things change. I had to move recently. A new job, a new life. I just arrived in America, and I must admit I was lonely. I miss the games. I miss my brothers. So I've started recruiting. It's been wonderful. I've been scouting new locations, building a new crew. This is the first international chapter of the cartel, and the excitement, it's electric. There are so many wonderful places here, so many dark roads and quiet forests. We are organized, and we're ready, and I just can't wait for the lights to go out. The circus is coming to town, folks. See you all very, very soon. Yours in laughter, Mr. Jolies.
Part 2. Country Road, Trapped in the Dark. The quiet. That was the first thing that really got to me. Even before the lights died. Mark, my husband, was deployed on tour, and usually our house, way out here, was my peaceful escape. But now it felt too big and empty. Then, just like that, the whole county went dark. A total blackout. My Tesla, dead. A giant, useless paperweight just sitting in the driveway. And my phone, a brick. No signal, no bars, nothing. The cell towers must have went down with everything else. And just like that, I was completely cut off. Absolutely alone in the dark. The first night of the blackout was just weird. I wasn't screaming terrified, but I definitely had a bad case of the jitters. My nerves were already frayed from the power being out. I was trying to read by flashlight, my shadow dancing all creepy-like on the walls, when I heard a soft thump from downstairs, then a really faint scraping noise. I flinched. It must just be the house setting, I whispered to myself, my voice thin and shaky. It had to be. But then Pepper, my sweet tuxedo boy, usually a total couch potato cat, suddenly started launching himself at the back door. The one that goes out onto the deck? His fur was all puffed out, every single hair bristling. He went absolutely crazy, spitting, hissing, letting out these deep guttural growls I'd never heard from him before. He was focused on something outside. I'd never quite seen him like that before. It was unsettling, but I was so keyed out from the blackout, I figured he must have just seen a fox or a raccoon that spooked him. I stayed in my room. Pepper, however, stayed agitated all night, pacing, growling off and on. The next morning, when the sun finally came up, I had never been so relieved. I went to the back door, still half thinking about Pepper's weirdness. When I arrived, something small and dark on the wooden floor caught my eye. A tiny smear. Red. Blood? My breath caught. Had I cut myself last night and not even noticed? I checked my hands, my arms, nothing. Then I saw a tiny, almost dried speck of red on Pepper's paw. Ugh, gross. Had he actually gotten into a fight with something? Did he catch a mouse? It just felt off and very unsettling, but I mostly just shrugged it off as something odd. It wasn't enough to make me think about leaving, and after all, where would I even go? After that weird moaning, I just tried to get some fresh air, and that helped a little. But that dead electric car and my still dead phone just kept screaming helpless at me. I was on the porch sipping a drink as the sun started to set, and that's when a car drove by. Really, really slow. It wasn't anyone I knew from our small town, and it actually pulled over just a few yards down the country road. My heart started to pound. I froze. A man was in the driver's seat. He didn't wave, he didn't smile, he didn't even acknowledge me. He just stared. His eyes were locked right on me, completely unnerving. It was a truly creepy encounter, and my skin felt like it was crawling. "Can I help you?" I managed to call out. My voice was barely reaching the car. He didn't move. He didn't make a sound. He just stared. Then, without warning, he slammed the car into gear and peeled out, leaving a cloud of dust. Now I was terrified. My hands shook. This was real. This was becoming a stalker story, and it was happening right here at my house. That cold, creepy feeling from last night, the weird blood, Pepper's behavior, it all started snapping into place. My stomach twisted. Had he been here last night? I thought about leaving, but where? My car was useless. My phone was dead. I couldn't call for help. I couldn't call an Uber. There was nowhere to go. I didn't even know the neighbors, and besides, they were miles away on each side. I decided it was best to knuckle down. I found an old baseball bat from Mark's closet, and I kept it close, just in case. This was no longer just a weird creepypasta. It was my reality, and I was on high alert. That night, the darkness was thick, suffocating. It pressed in on me heavy and cold. I was trying to have a calm night, curled up by the fireplace, reading a book. The hours ticked by, and there was no sign of the creep. Maybe I was good. Maybe he wasn't coming back. Maybe he was never even here last night. Just as I started to relax, that's when I heard the noise. A car. It pulled up and parked outside. My stomach clenched. I darted to the window, peering through the blinds. And there it was, that same car. And him? He got out of the vehicle, and my heart nearly exploded. He was wearing a ski mask. Pepper immediately started going wild, a frantic ball of fur and growls. I grabbed my bat, my hands clammy around the grip. I didn't know what to do, so I ran around the house fumbling with locks, making sure every single door was secure and every window was closed tight. I heard him first at the front door. A quiet jiggle, then a frustrated grunt. Locked. Peppa was there, hissing and lunging at the door, his growls echoing in the quiet house. Then he moved. I heard him go around to the side of the house. I peered through the kitchen window, and there he was coming into view. We made eye contact, and he just stared. But Pepper was already up on the kitchen counter, a furious streak, hissing and lunging at the window, throwing himself against the glass. He backed away from the window, and I heard him moving around back. Then, through the glass of the sliding back door, I saw him clearly. He was there. And then I realized I'd forgotten to lock it. He went to open the door, just a small little pull, but Pepper was there instantly. He jammed his paws against the glass, hissing and scratching. The creep actually flinched. He seemed genuinely scared of the cat, backing off, not opening the door any farther. He stood there for a second, and then he rummaged into his backpack. He pulled something out. It glinted in the faint moonlight. I couldn't see what it was, but I was sure it was a weapon. A gun, a knife. That was it. Pure, unadulterated terror. I scrambled into my bedroom, grabbing Pepper, and then pressed the dresser in front of the door, barricading myself in the room. I sank into a corner, petting Pepper close and holding him tight. He was still a furious ball of growls and hisses, his eyes fixed on the door relentlessly. I peeked out the window, my heart pounding. Could I make a run for it? Barefoot, in the dark, with him right there? No way. He'd catch me. I knew it. That's when the impossible happened. I heard a different sound, growing louder. Not his car, but another engine. Headlights cut through the absolute blackness of the road, moving slowly towards the house. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst. It was a local police cruiser. An officer pulled over, right by the stalker's parked car. He was shining his flashlight at the weird dark vehicle. Seeing those police lights, the stalker must have panicked. I heard a thud outside my room and the back door sliding open. Then I peeked through the blinds of my bedroom window again. In the distant glow of the police headlights, I saw a masked man running full speed towards the woods behind my house. The officer headed to my front door and I screamed for him, a raw, ragged sound escaping my throat. He rushed in and found me, a shaking mass huddled in the corner of my room. He didn't go after the guy. He focused on me, making sure that I was safe. Once I was somewhat calmer, still trembling, the officer, Officer Miller, told me what he found. "Michaela," he said, his voice grim. "There was a bag outside. He dropped it when he ran. It had rope, duct tape, a knife." My stomach twisted into a knot. "And he had a chair sat right here." He gestured to the hallway, just outside my bedroom door. "It was facing your room." My eyes went wide. He was planning. I couldn't breathe. He saw the terror in my eyes. "It's okay. You're safe now," he reassured me. "Mark called me. He said he had a bad feeling with his blackout, and he asked me to swing by and check on you." That was the wild coincidence. Mark's gut feeling, it might have literally saved my life. That and Pepper, of course, my incredible, brave, feisty little Pepper. He must have scratched him and drawn blood on that first night. Probably scared the living daylights out of him, too. That's why the stalker hesitated so much on night 2. My tiny cat had saved my life before the cop even showed up. The police determined that Creep's car was stolen from a neighboring county. The guy who ran into the woods, he was never caught. But I'm still here. The power's still out. The pet is still 2 out. Mark's still on deployment, and he won't be back for another 2 months. I can't sleep. Every shadow, every sound, every rustle of leaves outside, it sends a fresh jolt of terror running through me. Pepper, my hero, he's more agitated than ever. His senses are on overdrive. He's always listening. I owe my life to that random arrival, sparked by Mark's gut feeling, and to my incredibly brave cat. But the truth is, the guy is still out there. This isn't just a creepypasta anymore. This is my life. What am I going to do? I don't know how I'm going to make it through the next 2 months. Thank God for Pepper. But the stalker is still out there, somewhere in the shadows of this rural horror that surrounds me. And I'm still alone, in the dark.
The power will eventually come back on. But for Michaela, the darkness may never truly lift. Her stalker is still out there, somewhere in the shadows of her country horror. In the Blackout Clown Cartel, They're eagerly awaiting their next visit to the circus. When the lights go out again, will you be ready? What's your biggest fear during a blackout? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. As long as there's no blackouts.